what's up, reefers? This is Reefer Matt. How often does this happen to you? When you take a picture of your tank and it turns out blue like this? Or you try to take a picture of your favorite frag to show out to friends and it shows up like this. Don't give up. I'll show you how to do better. So before you bust out your cell phone and start snapping pics, there's a few tools that'll be real helpful. The first tool I suggest if you're running blue in your tank is a coral viewing lens. I use this Orphic lens here. It has an amber lens on it and it comes in a kit. Any coral viewing lens will work as long as it has a little orange filter on it and it blocks the blue light out if you're running blue. The app I use to take pictures is called ProCam X. I like this app because it lets me adjust the white balance better than the settings on my phone, and it also has some other cool features in it as well. White balance is one of the main settings you'll use to change the color temperature of your picture. You can go from a bluer to you see it's more of an orange. You just gotta play around with this setting with your lens until you get it to make it look like your tank. For me, usually the auto setting works pretty good as long as I use the coral viewing lens, and then I can touch up anything that looks weird in post editing. So next up is the ISO setting. This setting is sort of like a brightness setting. However, the higher you go, the more distorted that your picture will look. So you want to get it as low as possible, but while it's still bright, that you can actually see it. I noticed that when I have the ISO setting set to auto, such as here, it'll actually change as I'm moving the camera around. So I like to keep it between 200 and 400, so that way it's not constantly changing the brightness. You'll just have to play around with it and see which settings will work for your situation. And up next is focus. Focus, you can, there's many different settings. You can have a constant setting for focus, an auto setting. You can even lock in the focus. There's just different settings for focus, so that's something you kind of got to play around with to see which one you like best. They work for different scenarios too, like if you're shooting video, you're going to want a focus that constantly changes, but with pictures, you may want a fixed setting. So here you can see the before and after with the lens, and it does make a huge difference. So here's the lens that I use. It's called the Orphic lens. It comes with 4 different lenses. The first one is this amber lens here, and that'll be the one that you use the most to block out the blue light. However, if that's not enough, it also comes with this little yellow lens here, and you can stack it with the orange one if you want. And then it also comes with this UV lens. That one I don't really use that much. I think that's for more outside personally, but there's also this magnifying lens here, and this is good for macro photography. If your coral is up close to the edge of the tank, you could take a picture with this and it'll give you a nice macro picture. And it all comes in this nice neat little carrying case. So basically there's not too much of a secret when it comes to photography when you're taking pictures of your reef. The lens will help out a lot, but really photography is an art. It's just something you got to play around with, and you learn and you find your own style when you're doing it. Do note, however, that there's some settings that are left out of here because basically this is an intro for photography, so you really don't have to play around with them, but you can if you want, such as your aperture setting and that. It's pretty cool to make fish make little trails and stuff if you have a slow shutter setting. But for the most part, I would just leave a lot of those in auto and then just play around with the color temperature. So here's a photo I took of my Jason Fox solar flare with some light editing, and it looks pretty normal. However, when you look at this one, you can tell that I definitely saturated it. This is what frustrates a lot of reefers when they buy frags online. Sometimes when you buy a coral online and you get it home, it doesn't quite look like the picture because the picture was heavily saturated. A side note on editing, just play with the features and the sliders and see what they do. There are a lot of options, and like I said, photography is an art. So somewhere between a completely blue photo and a heavily saturated photo is a good photo. So just keep practicing and have fun with it. I'm Reefer Matt. Thank you for watching and happy reefing.